is loveeee and welcome to my YouTube. Hello everyone, my name is loveeee and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited that all of you guys have joined me today for my first ever YouTube video. And yes, I have been wanting to start this journey for a while, and I decided to, put up the camera and just start talking. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. This is my first ever YouTube video. I feel like it's really important that I introduce myself a little bit. And hi, my name is loveeee. I am from South Florida. I am a second-year student at Villanova University studying cognitive behavioral neuroscience. And I started this YouTube channel because I am very passionate about health, wellness, lifestyle, and just overall self-development. Throughout my entire life, I have had many ups and many downs. And all of those moments have definitely taught me a lot of things. And I just feel like through this channel, through this platform, I'm going to be able to share all those things that I've learned. And that was like one of the main reasons why I wanted to start it. And so I'm going to be talking about the 6 mindset shifts that completely shifted the trajectory of my life and just helped me become the person I am today and to continue to evolve beyond what I am right now. And so the first mindset shift that just completely overall shifted my perspective on life is that rejection equals redirection. And so to expand upon this a little bit more, have you ever had that moment where you wanted this job so badly and you applied, you put in all the work, you talked to the manager, you did everything, but it just did not end up working out and you didn't get the job? Or when you applied for a special program that you really wanted to be a part of or work with, or you saw a cute guy on the street and you were just like, hey, can I get your number? Something like that. I'm sure everybody's had those moments where they wanted something and they were just knocked down. And it's those moments that hurt us a lot as humans, because it's like, it makes us feel as though we're not good enough, or that the thing that we truly want is just not happening for us. And so I feel like one of the biggest things that I had to learn throughout my life is that understanding that just because one thing doesn't work out doesn't mean that another thing won't, And so just because something doesn't work out for you initially doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to do anything else. And I feel like it's so important understanding that not everything is meant for everyone. Like, you can feel like this job, like, it aligns with me so much, but if you end up getting rejected from it, then it might be because whatever higher force you believe in, whether that be God or the universe, it's protecting you from what could end up happening if you were to follow that path. And so I feel like understanding that just because you're rejected from something doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It's just that life is putting you on a different pathway that is truly meant for you. Because at the end of the day, in life, nothing is ever random. There's nothing that we do that is ever wasted, because everything, I feel as though, happens for a reason. Every single moment that we have, it's for a reason. And so I feel like it's really important to instill that mindset that it's not that we're rejected, it's that we're redirected into a different path. And it is that life is trying to punish you from not letting you have the opportunity. It's really that life is trying to protect you, because it's putting you down the path that's truly meant for you. Because if you were to go down that other path, it's not what's meant for you. It's not going to lead you to becoming the person that you were meant to be, to learn the new things, to meet the person that you're supposed to meet. And so all in all, it's just life is just simply guiding you and push you beyond what you could have even dreamed of. And so what I really want to get at the end of this is that rejection doesn't mean that you're necessarily off track. It's that the redirected path that you're meant to go on is already in motion. It's already happening. And so you just have to, let life do its thing. Everything happens for a reason, and just be at peace knowing that. That's what I do, because for me, when I'm rejected from something that I really wanted, I get so much anxiety. And so there's another path for me. It helps me become at peace knowing that everything is meant to happen for a reason. And the way that I can personally relate to this a lot is, of course, college applications. I had this vision for myself where I really wanted to go to my dream school, and I ended up getting rejected. And coming to terms with that was really hard because I had dreamed of this reality and I had made Pinterest boards, so many Pinterest boards. I had dreamed about it at night. And then once I got that rejection letter, I was like, oh, okay, I see how it is. But you know what? That's okay, because right now, I am so beyond happy with how my life is and the school I go to, the people I've met, the experiences I've had, all the things that I've learned, that I know that I was meant to be at this school. That even though my heart wanted something else, my path was on the right track to going to where I was supposed to be. And I really feel like at the school I'm completely thriving. And I'm sure I would have thrived the same at this other school that I got rejected from, but I don't worry about what my life could have been. I'm worrying about what my life is right now, the things I can do to improve it, the person I can become in order to reach my highest potential. And so I just feel like it's really important to understand that just because you're rejected from something doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Not at all. I can assure you that. And I feel like for me personally, I've gone through so much stuff. I feel like all that has prepared me and has given me the tools to become the person I am today. And I'm happy with who I am today. Like, being so for real, keeping it a buck with everyone. I'm so happy with who I am today. And so I feel like just finding that peace and understanding that everything happens for a reason is just so important in order to live a happy life. So yeah. And so the second mindset shift that I really want to touch upon is just having the mindset where you have to act like the highest version of yourself 24/7. And I know this is easier said than done, and it sounds exhausting, but I feel like it's so important for anybody that's just trying to evolve as a person and just have that sort of self-development. Is the first thing to think of is, what can I do to become the best version of myself? What would the best version of me do? And so, for example, me, when I wake up in the morning, I think about that and I'm just like, okay, I could either, be the version of me and just scroll through my phone, check all the notifications, like stay in bed for another extra 3 minutes. But I'm like, no, I'm not about that. And so I wake up, I check the time, I get out of bed and I start brushing my teeth and I start getting ready for the day. I start getting ready for the gym and then I go log in and I get the day moving, because I think, what would the highest version of Domi do? The highest version of Domi would take advantage of every single moment of the day. And so this can be translated into like even the simplest of things. When you see something on the floor and you're just like, oh my gosh, why is that on the floor? And you just think like, I could either leave it there for somebody else to pick it up, or I can pick it up myself. What would the highest version of me do? The highest version of you would help and pick it up so that you saw it and you get it done out of the way and nobody else has to worry about it. And so little things like that are just like thinking about like, what would the highest version of me do? Because for me, the highest version of me appreciates myself, appreciates my time, appreciates the fact that I'm living, and also appreciates the people that I live with and the people I'm friends with. And so I always try to think, what would the highest version of Domi do? I always want to set my standard super high, and I want to reach that standard every single time. And I feel like another important thing to touch upon that is that you want to surround yourself with people that will help you reach that standard. And so who would the highest version of you be surrounded with? You just want to think about that in just all aspects of your life. When it comes to your diet, what would the highest version of me eat? When it comes to your friends, who would the highest version of me be friends with? When it comes to your appearance, what would the highest version of me dress like? All those little things. And so I just feel like being in touch with that helps to do a lot of self-assessment, because it lets you understand where your priorities lie and where you need to dedicate your energy to, if that makes any sense, so that it doesn't go to things that are completely unnecessary and don't really, rock with you. And I feel like another important thing to understand with this topic is that confidence is built through alignment. When you do things that are truly important to you because they are part of the highest version of you, it's only building up your confidence, because you're building up more trust in yourself and more trust in what you want. And just overall builds like a lot of clarity with understanding what am I doing with my life, you know? And another way that like this topic aligns with me is that when I was thinking about making this YouTube channel, I was just like, what would the highest version of loveeee do? The highest version of loveeee would stop thinking and start doing. That's why I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna start typing up what I want to talk about in my computer, and I'm just gonna click record and just see how it goes. And so yeah, I feel like it's so important to just, you know, understand what you want, understand all of the things that you want to happen in your life. And if you don't have an understanding of that, acting as the highest version of yourself will allow for that clarity to come, because you're going to be able to understand where your priorities are, where your goals are, and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that really shifted my perspective on life, because now I'm here doing something that I've known that I wanted to do, even though I was scared to start this, because I was like, oh my gosh, what are people gonna think? The highest version of loveeee would not care what people think, and she would just do because she does what she wants to do, and this is what I want to do. So yeah. And so the third mindset shift that I wanted to talk about is that at the end of the day, being so for real, nobody's watching you as much as you are. And I feel like we live in a society where people are just too focused on themselves to really care about you, to really care about what you're doing, to really care about anything that's beyond themselves. And like, yeah, like that's different. It depends on the situation, of course, but at the end of the day, people are really caring about what they're doing in their lives and more focused on that than focused on what you're doing. Like your thoughts, their thoughts are like 99% consumed with like them, and it's just the truth. We just live in a reality where humanity just really just acts like that at the end of the day. And so like that fear of judgment of, oh my gosh, what are people gonna think about me? Oh my gosh, like, oh no, like that's what's holding me back more than actual judgment, because the only people that are going to be judging you are the people that are jealous of you because they don't have what you have. And at the end of the day, it's just that, and just having that mindset that nobody cares that much. And at the end of the day, nobody starts perfect. So it's just important to just start just going. Everybody's a beginner at something when they start. Nobody knows what they're doing when they start something new, you know? Like for me, when I did color art in high school, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. I just showed up to the auditions and I was like, what is going on? I could not even hold a damn flag. It was so bad. Like my mom would say that I looked like this. It was not it. But guess what? I put in the training, I put in the work, I showed up to rehearsal, I did the damn thing, and I'm a 2-time world champion. Just saying, you know? And so nobody's perfect when they first start. So it's just important to just, you know, just like stop worrying about what others are gonna think and just do your thing, live your life, do what you want. Because at the end of the day, it's your story, it's not their story. Like, and if you are a part of their story, it's not as big as you think it is, if that makes any sense. And once you have that understanding that nobody's watching, that's when you have the most amount of freedom to do what you want, because you don't have to live in fear of, oh my gosh, what is this person gonna think of me? And if they do end up judging you, that's how you know they're not a real one. And you should take this with a grain of salt, of course, because like, don't do something that's messed up. Like, keep the morals in mind, of course. But at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And if doing that forces you to learn a lesson, then learn that damn lesson and move on and take it with you. And you know, like we all have those awkward moments of like, oh my gosh, like I cannot believe that somebody just saw me fall down the stairs. They're gonna forget about that in 5 seconds. Like for me, I like really have to think about it when I think about something that's like embarrassing that happened like that. I don't even know, but like I really gotta think about that, because I'm just like, it's not really like gonna stay in my brain, you know? Yeah, like just understand that Nobody's watching you as much as you think they are. And just do you. So the fourth mindset shift that I feel like is so important for literally anyone, well, especially for me, because I have suffered with this many times, and that's understanding what imposter syndrome is, and that you are the ones in control of the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome does not control you. And so for those who want a little bit more of an understanding on what imposter syndrome is, it's basically when you're doing something and you feel like sort of incompetent and like, oh, like I'm an imposter in this role, I shouldn't be doing this, isn't for me, I'm not qualified. But in reality, anybody who experiences imposter syndrome has to understand that experiencing that is simply a sign of growth. It's simply just highlighting that you are stepping into something that's new, something that's unfamiliar, and you're reaching out of your comfort zone. And so having that sort of imposter syndrome, it's something that should be appreciated, but not something that you should allow to control your life. So all that discomfort you're having when you're trying something new is just a symbol of you evolving as a person. Imposter syndrome, you need to think of it as like, you're not out of place. You're simply leveling up because you're only moving up. You're doing something that's uncomfortable, something that's unfamiliar. And so the only way is up. And so you gotta put in that work, and you cannot let imposter syndrome hold you back from putting in that work. And so the most successful people in the world experience imposter syndrome. It's like a universal thing. Doctors, CEO, billions, they all experience it. But the one thing that they all have in common is that they do not let all that doubt keep them from reaching their fullest potential. And so I feel like another important thing to really understand about this is that you are just as qualified to do what you want to do simply because you care. You care, like with those thoughts going in your head, am I good enough? Am I competent enough? Am I qualified enough? All those doubts that you have are simply just symbols that you care about the position that you're in, about what you're doing, because you want to be able to be the person that's good enough to do it. And so having that little bit, even like having those doubts, like they truly magnify just how much you care. And at the end of the day, the people that care about what they're doing are the ones that are the most successful about it, because they're gonna make sure that every single time that they show up to do whatever it is they're doing, they give it their 110%. It's just really important to understand that when you're doing anything, perfection is not required. Perfection is something that's simply not real, because everybody's making mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, and I'm so happy I make those mistakes because I learn from all of them and I use them to become the highest version of myself. And so you need to be able to go into something and not let any sort of voice of imposter syndrome hold you back from doing what you need to be doing. Because at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. I know I've ducked many times, and it's okay, because guess what? If you are given the ability, the access to do what you want to do, that's how you know you belong there. And just like simply being in the room, you didn't trick anyone. You didn't manipulate yourself to get into that room. No, you were chosen to do that, whether it be from boss, some like, I don't even know, like the universe, God, whatever. Like, you were put into that position. And so that's what you're destined to do, whether it's something that's destined for the rest of your life, or if it's just your destiny for however long it is. Like, you were supposed to be in that position, and you just have to give it your 110%. And whatever the outcome is what's meant for you. And just finding peace in that everything that happens is simply for a reason. And so the fifth mindset shift that I want to talk about is that it is never that serious. I'm being so for real. Life is not that serious. It's really not. Like, I feel like we put so much value into the smallest things, and it's like, with certain things you should, for sure, but like, if one day like you trip in front of someone, laugh it off. Like, it's not that serious. And so I feel like having that mindset shift that, like, there's no point in stressing over the tiniest little things is so important, because at the end of the day, it's never that serious. We all move past things. In 5 years, you're not going to remember even the smallest details. It's not. And so if you're like, for example, if you're having an argument with your friends, it's so much more important to be happy than to be right. Like, that's one thing that I advocate to everyone. It's so important to just like not take those kinds of things that seriously, and just be able to move past them, reconcile, do everything that you need to do to just like to find that sort of happiness and understand, like, even the smallest things can happen, I'm still gonna be happy. And so the sixth and final mindset shift that I want to talk about today is that your next level will cost you your current coping mechanism. And so basically what I want to say about this is that it's so important in order to reach the next level to outgrow the patterns that once protected you, because those patterns are ultimately what's keeping you small and keeping you from reaching your fullest potential. Because those coping mechanisms keep you comfortable, they keep you safe, they don't let you go beyond what you are currently at. And so it is so important to be able to let go of those things that you want to put so much value into, in order to find the new things that will give even more value to you, if that makes any sense. And so all of the behaviors that helped you survive right now, that are helping you right now to survive, are not what's going to help you thrive in your next level. They're just simply not, because they no longer align with your personal growth. And just think of it as those coping mechanisms. And so think of it as those coping mechanisms are your protection and not your progression. It's so important to understand this, so that you can trade your safety for your inevitable expansion. So it's overall just so important to be able to move past that uncomfortable state of trying something new, because growth is uncomfortable. And so it's so important to understand that even if something new, a new lifestyle choice, a new path feels uncomfortable, that uncomfortableness is just a symbol of growth. And that if something feels safe, that's simply because it's familiar, and familiar won't get you to where you want to go. And so understanding that it's so important to let go of those coping mechanisms, so that you can make space for what's to come in life and what you need in order to just progress as a person overall. And so for me, this was something that I experienced when I moved to Pennsylvania to go to school, because I had to understand that in order to reach the highest version of myself, I had to move away from what was familiar. And for me, that was my home, that was South Florida. And yes, I love this area so much with my entire heart and soul. But I knew that in order to progress as a person, in order to try new things, to have a completely revolutionized life, I had to move away from what I was familiar with, what I was comfortable with, and move to a state that's completely uncomfortable, literally, because the dryness is terrible and I much prefer humidity. But besides that, I had to do something that was uncomfortable, something that was outside of my box, move to a place where I literally knew nobody, because nobody from my high school or my area was going to Villanova. And so I really just had to just move past that comfortable state I was in, do something uncomfortable, move beyond my coping mechanisms, and just step outside of the box. And doing that was the best decision I could have ever made, because I had those fears, I had those moments where I was like, is this really the choice that I should be doing? Like, am I prepared for this? And if I had listened to those thoughts, then I probably would have stayed here, and that probably would have been detrimental to who I am as a person, because stepping outside of my box and doing something different is what helped me grow into the person I am today, and it will continue to help me grow and advance into becoming the highest version of myself. Those are the 6 mindset shifts that have completely just revolutionized the person I am today. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and those are just a couple of things that have truly stuck with me and have really just helped me become the best version of who I am, who loveeee is. And so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those things that all the other YouTubers tell you to do. But thank you so much for listening, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye.